Stuart, does this feel as if it's been kind of a long relegation battle?
I don't know. I suppose it possibly feels like that at any point. There's different ways that can happen. You can be in that mix for the start of the season. Teams can lose form and find themselves in that. It's not really been a focus as such. I think when I came in here, the remit was to try and make up a deficit of 5 points to the team that's above you. And so my mindset's probably been that since day one. Could we argue at times that maybe we focus on other things and we think if it's very easy to piece together some wins and then the league table looks completely different? You probably can in the Championship by the nature of the structure of it, the difference in points. A few wins was always going to change that picture. But the fact of the matter is that we find ourselves, we have fluctuated in our positions. Couple of, some of the wins have moved us positions, and some of the defeats have quite clearly pushed you down the table. But it is what it is. I hate that phrase, but it is what it is. We find ourselves in a position where we have to go and try and win a game tomorrow. We have to go and try and be methodical about that. I think sometimes you hear this kind of gung-ho mentality of being stupid, leaving yourself exposed and never been in a game. We need to make sure that we're in a game. But I possibly could have been having a conversation of a dead rubber here tomorrow night, and we're not. We've given ourselves a fighting chance. I would still say that we're massively underdogs from within that. But I've always said that I still think that strange things can happen at the end of a season. Pressure can do strange things to teams, to players, my message to our players in the last couple of weeks is that I think that most people have had us dead and buried for a couple of weeks now. We're not, we're still fighting, and sometimes that can be the story to tell.
Your task is clear. You need to win the game. How much momentum have the two earlier victories that you just had given you going into this last game?
I'll tell you that about 10 o'clock tomorrow night. I don't know. It's the honest answer, but what I can tell you is that the mood around about the place has been very good. The confidence, the bit of quality that we're starting to see has been what I'd hoped for earlier than now, of course it is. But I said to you guys after the game on Saturday, I can't keep looking back and I can't keep focusing on what's happened previous. That's going to dilute what we need to do with the here and the now. Analysing that, critiquing it, scrutinising it, what's went before. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be time for that, and there's going to have to be serious conversations on that front. But we can only live in the here and now just now, and we have a chance if we win a game. Depending what other scenarios are, depending what happens elsewhere, then we would give ourselves a chance of getting into a playoff. It's not to stay in the league. We would give ourselves a chance of getting into a playoff. There'd still be a lot of work to be done, but let's just focus on trying to win a game of football. And I always need to be respectful in this as well. I think we just talk about that as if you click your fingers and that happens. We're playing against a really good side away from home. We're playing against a team that for me have got a lot of experience and have got a lot of quality. So this misguided thought process of just turning up and winning because you've won your last two and you feel like you're in a decent bit of form, that's not going to be the case. We're going to have to grab onto the foundations that have got us a chance in that last couple of games, that's found us picking up a wee bit of form at a really important time. And then and only then can you then start to go into the intricacies of the game. And I've said that to the players. I need to be really clear on it. There's been weeks where we feel that so many things have been off point. We feel that there's so many things that are wrong structurally, technically, tactically from our side of it, and not executing what we're looking to do. And for me and the coaching staff in the last couple of weeks, and for the players, I think it's been a whole lot more enjoyable because before the game, half time and post match, you feel like you get to be that wee bit more detailed in the specifics of the game and how you can help the players, as opposed to trying to run a little bit more, trying to win more second balls, trying to make some better decisions. But that goes then as huge credit for me to the players. The players have taken control of that over the last couple of weeks, and what it does is it builds confidence individually and collectively.
Raith Rovers don't have anything to play for. You very much do. Is that a factor that's even worth considering?
No, because understanding the likes of Dougie, his team, his players, I'm fairly certain that they're going to want to go and try and win another game of football. It's any professional sits in the same boat for me, and if you're not, I would be really surprised. We're all competitors. We all want to win games. We all want to finish in the highest points tally that you can, etc., etc. There's so many motivators. Our fight's different from theirs. But that doesn't mean that they'll be any less motivated to go and try and win the game. So no, from my side, I don't look into that too much. We don't speak about it at all. I think where we found ourselves at our best the last couple of weeks is just making sure that we try and execute what we want to do, as opposed to focus on other results or other teams' causes. We have to make sure that our remit is the most important one. And as I say, the players have been really, really good at that the last couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How do the players and yourselves maintain focus when you're kind of depending on results? And obviously nowadays you've seen the fans monitoring the scores elsewhere.
I think it's easy. I think that, some people can be easily led and guided away off to something else. I've always felt that my focus has been very, very good, as to what's the task, what's the cause. So if I don't want to find that out, I don't really want to hear it, I can centre on what my job is at that point. And see, to be honest with you, the players have been brilliant at that the last couple of weeks as well. Very easily we could have found ourselves in a position where we're not, as I say, sitting here having this conversation. Different scenarios, different pressure that's been on. This game falls into exactly what the Ayr United game was for us. If we didn't win, there was a scenario where that puts us to bed. Certainly the same last week against Green at Morton. So that tells me that the players' focus is on what they're doing, and nothing else outside that. And that'll be exactly what we're trying to do again this Friday.
Do you think the league's kind of thrown up a few surprises this year with obviously the top end already settled playoffs, and it's obviously the side that's all to play for on the last day?
No, I think this league always has something to play for in the last day, irrespective of kind of what that is, playoffs, winning the league, relegation, whatever. I can't remember too many years where that's not been the case, that something's not went down to the last day. So I think we all acknowledge that that's the nature of this league. It can be unpredictable. It can be a little bit harum-scarum at times. It can be frantic. There's a lot of passion. And I think that's what I've seen again. I've obviously been away for the Championship for quite a few years, but I know it really well as a player and a coach and a manager. And it's kind of everything I thought it was going to be since January. And in the last couple of weeks, what I think that we've done in amongst the chaos at times is I think we've played with a level of composure, and I think we've played with a level of quality. And I always think that if you do that in any league, that will start to shine through. So that's pleased me. This game will throw up different aspects on Friday, playing against a different opposition, playing away from home, playing on a different surface. It's going to throw up other aspects. It's about us being equipped to be able to deal with it.
Obviously, Rovers was one of the scorers on the weekend. How much of a difference has he made in the two games he's come back in?
He's done really well. We all know that Noah Childs is a quality player. We all know that he's somebody that can. I keep using the phrase "knit your units together." So you've got a goalkeeper, a defence, a midfield, and a front line, but something has to join all of that up together. Some kind of attribute has to join all of that up together. I think you've seen that Noah's been able to do that for us in large part. Delighted to see him get his goal. Delighted to see him play the minutes that he's played in the last couple of weeks, and it's definitely helped us. No question about that. I did say after the game on Saturday that we don't heap everything on Noah, and that's not because I don't think the world of him, and I think that he's a top lad and a really good player. It's not fair. It's not fair. He's continuing his recovery. It so happens that it's a point where all eyes are on us and there's a lot of pressure on, and sometimes that can be difficult. Players can sometimes bow out and take a step backwards. He's certainly not. I've seen plenty of players that have done that, but for us that mentality's been a strength for us, but also his quality and his tactical awareness is something that helps us as well.
Is there any other team news?
No, we're pretty much the same as we were. Just made the point there that a few guys missing out. You guys will have seen some players sitting in the stand. I've always said that our squad's too big. We know that. So when everybody's back fit and everybody's pushing to try and get into the squad, there's going to be obvious disappointment. So you'll probably see a little bit of that. But other than that, everybody looks as if they're much and such as it has been the last 2 weeks. So it'll be a case of picking the right squad, the right 11, and the right bench that we think is going to support that throughout the game.
That's all from me. Thanks for that.
Perfect.
I think you said a couple of weeks ago, Stuart, that you didn't pay attention to other results, but I suppose because what you do on the day is going to depend so much on no, that's the wrong way of putting it, but your outcome could be affected by the result directly and before the game's over. If you know what I mean, you could have 30 minutes left and you need a goal, or you need to protect your lead. You know, those are the scenarios you've got.
Yeah, I suppose so. We're all kind of waxing lyrical about the game we watched on Tuesday. Every one of us we'll all put it down in our top three probably of games you've ever watched. I sat in the house with Stevie Frail and it was like a Cheshire cat. I had a big smile on my face. I'm laughing, I'm grinning, as we probably all were. But there was a point in that game, and it was probably quite poignant for me, that when Bayern Munich go 5-2 down, you could still see they had a task, and they weren't wavering from what they were going to do. Could they shut up shop and try and see if they can salvage a 5-2 and see if they can get some sort of miracle when they get back to Munich? And I know I'm going off tangent here, but my point is that I think that you need to set your stall out and what you need to be, and once you can get that commitment from your players and you can get the commitment from the entire football club, that's when I genuinely think good things will happen. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to resemble that particular game. I hope not. It'll be great for the old ticker if that was the case, but all I'm trying to make the point that sometimes if we start to centre our decision making on something else happening somewhere else, I think that we need to go to this game to try and win it by as good a margin as we possibly can. If we can win it, the first step there is to try and win the game. The second part is to see if you can add to a tally that you've got. There could be adversity in that. You can find yourself a goal down, because again, I hate when people start speaking about as if you're just going to win a game and then it's the different scenarios after it. That's absolutely not the case. I know that more than anybody. But we have to set out our goals and we have to map out what we want to do in the game, and really not concern ourselves with anything. And I thought that Bayern performance the other night was probably symptomatic of that, and probably something for us all to learn a little bit from. Stick to your guns, attack the game the way you want to attack it, and your adjustments can sometimes be made by substitution and altering starting positions, but I don't think it changes the mindset of what you're trying to do.
You talked a lot the last few months about inconsistency in the team, with not just the scorelines the last couple of weeks, but the manner of those performances. Are you more confident now that the players are mentally strong enough to deal with the pressure tomorrow night?
Yeah, listen, I've always had a lot of belief in this group. I know at times I can be really upfront and honest, and a lot of times people won't like me saying what I see and how I see it. But I always think that I need to do that, because I don't like for want of a better expression, the BS and the supporters and everybody else and trying to make myself look good or whatever. I need to call what I see. I need to tell people what I see. I believe in how I've been brought up that people respect that more than me trying to show that I'm better than what I am and me trying to protect people. I think we need to own up to our deficiencies. I think we need to own up to our feelings, and at that point it gives you a chance to move on. But I can't praise the players more than I have done over the last couple of weeks, and that's not down to me. That's not down to supporters being noisy in the first few minutes of the game. You guys have asked me that question about need the supporters to get behind them. Absolutely, but the supporters have got behind the players because of what they've done in the pitch. I said it in the best way possible. I could see everybody's super strengths on Saturday. I could see why this football club signed them. I could see why they've got good reputations, why they've got good names, why people speak about them in a certain light. And if your team does that every week, you've got a chance. And then from my side, we have to take ownership for what has happened previously. But what we need to do now is we need to cling on to something that's been really good over the last couple of weeks that the players have done themselves. We have to show them that. We have to indicate why that's working. And to a degree, we've spoken about the mentality of the game as well. The players look a little bit lighter. They look as if they've not putting as much pressure on their shoulders. I don't put this game any more significant than the last two. It's exactly the same, because the outcome could be the same if you don't get it right. But for me, the players have relaxed from within that, and they've shown that they are good players and that they're good people. You guys don't get to see that. They're good people. I think sometimes when they lose and they've been on a bad season, a bad form, everybody points to the finger about them being bad people. They're not bad people. They might have been getting things wrong. They might have been making mistakes. And when I come out and I critique and I criticise, that's not to say that I think that they're bad people. My job's just to make sure that we try and get them to connect and join up and form a team. And they've looked like that in the last couple of weeks.